Greetings, listeners, domestic, international, and extraterrestrial. I am David Thomas Gilroy Elmore Jedediah Reed.
It's true. I've seen your driver's license.
Yep.
It's extra big.
It's super large.
And I'm Kristen Riley, and this is The Cast Files.
I am a nerd who has somehow never seen The X-Files.
And I watched it when it originally aired. The Cast Files is a podcast where we watch and discuss every episode of The X-Files, spoiler-free.
Today we are talking about Season 2, Episode 21, Calusari. It originally aired March 14th, 1995 CE. It was written by Sarah B. Charno, or Charno if you're American. Charna if you're nasty.
Is that it? Charna.
Directed by Michael Vahar, or Vajar if you're disgusting.
That was so stupid. Great. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I
think so. I don't remember how we do this podcast anymore.
We haven't even taken a break. We did this last week.
I know.
Well, that's okay. This is a good spot because I'm looking at Monsters of the Week, the complete critical companion to The X-Files by Zach Handlen and Emily Todd Vanderwerf. And what Emily had to say about a Romanian exorcism is, or the Calusari, and specifically Sarah B. Charna.
Ooh, you nasty.
She wrote, compare the Calusari to Sarah B. Charno's earlier episode this season, Aubrey.
I did recognize her name.
And you'll find they have one big problem in common.
Oh, boy.
Both land on ultimately nonsensical theories meant to explain their paranormal phenomena. Each episode overcomplicates when it should simplify.
Oh, do you think that turning into your grandfather after you get pregnant is overcomplicated?
No, that's what happened to me.
That's what I thought.
It's just normal.
I mean...
We should talk about this more. It's normalized turning into your grandpa when you become pregnant.
Nobody is talking about this, and that is a problem.
Gestational diabetes, postpartum depression, turning into your grandpa.
Turning into your grandfather.
So I thought that was interesting because I agree that it just got a little nuts. She does also point out that this is the second episode in a row that the killer, I don't know why I did air quotes because they definitely killed people.
They definitely did. And nobody can see your air quotes.
Nope. Did I do them or did I just tell everybody I did them?
You did them. I saw you.
It is true. I did half this side.
It counts.
But it is the second episode in a row that they are technically both about evil twins.
Yes, it is.
It's true. So Hulu says the agents investigate when a young boy's family is plagued by several tragic accidents.
That's not accurate.
It really isn't.
It's one tragic accident.
That Mulder is stoked about.
So was I.
Oh, God. Okay, so we'll get into it. Let me get through this real quick because, my goodness.
Yes.
Ugh. There is a writer's note. Charno wrote the script, and she used her experience as a doctor of Eastern medicine.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know enough about her to know if that's problematic or not.
I don't either. Also, where?
In the East.
No. No, where in the episode? Where in the episode are they doing Eastern medicine?
Romania is technically the East because they didn't get on board with capitalism.
But
they're an Eastern Bloc country.
Okay, so I'm going to get into this later because I found a 1-star review of this episode by a Romanian American.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, go off, Queen. I will definitely read this.
Okay.
No idea what their gender is, but it felt like the right thing to say.
Okay.
So this is another episode where the X-Files gets any other culture they should stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Or bring somebody on board that's part of that culture.
I guess they thought they did.
I guess.
I'm not sure. All right, so let's get into the cast. We have Joel Palmer. He plays Charlie Holvey and also Michael Holvey.
Oh, so they didn't get an actual evil twin.
They didn't.
Hmm.
He previously played Kevin Morris in the X-Files episode Conduit.
Oh, he had a growth spurt.
Yep. I know, I didn't realize that, and then I was like, oh yeah, huh. I saw a picture of him, a more recent picture of him as an adult, and he's got the same face. He looks exactly the same.
Good for him.
It was fun because obviously you can recognize people from being a child to an adult, but it was like, he's just obviously that person. Rick Reed played Steve Holvey, or the devil, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is not explained. He previously played assistant coroner in the X-Files episode Pilot.
Oh.
Don't remember.
Nope.
Bill Dow is Dr. Charles Burks. He previously played Dad in the X-Files episode The Jersey Devil.
Oh, he's the guy I said looks like Frohicke's brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And Campbell Lane, the Calusari number 3, previously played Homan in the X-Files episode Miracle Man.
Homan.
Yeah, I don't
remember Homan.
I don't either. So, production note. The original Calusari were an ancient Romanian cult. It is clear that horseman cults existed as far back as ancient Roman times. And there is a side note that says, for further information, refer to Chapter 5 of, quote, The Cults of the Roman Empire by Robert Turkin. Blackwell Publishing, 1996. I did not find this, but...
Yeah, apparently it came out a little too late for
them to reference?
them to reference it.
Yep.
To know anything about the Calusari.
The reception. The Calusari is the only episode in the series to have received an explicit rating of 18 in the United Kingdom by the BBFC for, quote, occasional strong horror, unquote, and themes involving, quote, demonic possession, unquote.
Wow.
Yeah. The Calusari received mixed reviews, with critics citing inconsistencies in the plot as the main detractions. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B- rating, calling it, quote, an Exorcist/Omen ripoff, but a classy one.
Oh, well. Okay, then.
Back in the day, before she published this book, Emily Vanderwerf of the AV Club gave it a C+, writing that it was, quote, an episode with a lot of great and spooky moments, unquote, but, quote, a messy, chaotic story that could have been much better developed, and too many things that happened seem to happen just because the writers thought it would be cool if they happened.
I mean, isn't that this entire show?
Yes, I think so. She did praise it with some really great moments, and particularly the opening. So,
Me too.
let's get into it. There's a couple of other things, but let's just get right into it. We open and we see Charlie, the most pissed off kid at the whole carnival.
He was mad.
He's so mad. And he's there with his family, who actually kind of sucks. Well, his dad sucks, but, I mean, the baby's a baby, and his mom's busy with the baby, so they seem fine.
They seem okay. I wouldn't say fine.
I feel like in this opening, the mom is trying to manage one kid, the dad should be managing the other kid. It seems like it's an even split, man.
I'm just saying this baby doesn't seem fine.
You hate the baby?
The baby, baby's got a face.
The baby does have a face.
The baby has a face.
It has a whole face.
No, it has a face.
The baby has got cute little blonde curly hair.
Face.
The family is called the Holveys, and they're spending their day at Lincoln Park. Teddy, their toddler, drops his ice cream cone, and then his body on top of his ice cream cone. And he cries. The parents comfort him by giving him the elder son, Charlie's balloon. Actually, the dad doesn't even look at Charlie and just grabs it from Charlie and gives
it a no-look snatch.
It was nuts. It was brood.
Yeah, I wrote, no wonder this kid is evil. You get treated like that, you're going to develop some evil tendencies.
Gonna be something. Charlie becomes upset and he wants his balloon back. His father is really dismissive. He says, eat your ice cream. And then his dad throws all of the ice cream away, which was like dollars and dollars of ice cream.
It's like $3 worth of ice cream.
It's so much ice cream.
It's 3 full ice cream cones.
And just, we'll get you another balloon. But I want my balloon. Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh.
Why do I have children?
That woman trapped me.
Right. That woman that I brought back from Romania.
Took her away from her culture.
And told her that in order for her to come to this country, she had to drop everything she's grown up believing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we found out why the...
Grandmother doesn't like him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Great. Meanwhile, Maggie, the mother, takes Teddy to the restroom. She ties Teddy's toddler harness to a table leg while she uses a stall.
I have never seen one of these harnesses before. I was so confused by what she was doing the first time we watched it. I was literally just like, she's just lassoing this kid to a... Oh, she is. Oh,
yep.
Okay.
So I know that toddler harnesses are a controversial topic.
I know the leashes are weird. I find the leashes to be very weird.
So as a toddler harness with a leash user in my earlier life, man, just mind your own goddamn business.
I do. I just think it's weird.
So when Riley was a toddler, this age, he would obviously like to run around. And one time we were taking him on a trip back in the before times when you could go to the airport and it was chaos, but a different kind of chaos. So I was traveling with him, and he had a little backpack. It was a monkey, and the tail of the monkey was the leash. And he loved wearing that little monkey because I could tuck the tail away, and so he was just wearing a backpack situation that didn't hold anything because it was just a stuffed monkey. I think it could hold a binky. Like, it had the smallest, most useless pocket, but whatever. But he liked it, and it was nice to be able to not have to chase him through a crowd while also managing luggage and, any number of other things. Definitely a fan. Like, I didn't keep him on the leash 100% of the time, but if you got into situations like at a carnival where your toddler could wander off and be hit by a train, or, airports.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it's great. Also, the kid's not in the stall with her, so he's not touching everything, which they will also do.
That's what they did in the 80s. They just took you in the stall with them. Well, I take it back. When I was Teddy's age, it was still the 70s. So that's what they did in the 70s.
Because you're old. I'm sure that's what we did also, but whatever. I found the little backpack. He liked to wear it. It was his little monkey buddy. And we lost it on a trip to Nebraska.
Fucking Nebraska.
Yep. So she's singing that song about the monkeys falling off and breaking their bones.
No.
Falling off the bed and breaking their bones.
No, she's singing a song about roll over.
One rolled over and bumped his head. The other one said, roll over.
Okay.
So they all fell off.
There were 10 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over.
Oh, I'm thinking no more monkeys jumping on the bed.
Yeah, they all fell off and hurt themselves.
The monkeys in her song are not jumping on the bed. They're rolling over.
Yes.
It's got to be a different song.
5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head.
I don't know. Well, either way, she's singing that song. And he's there, he's harnessed to the sink until he's suddenly not. The balloon...
that he stole from Charlie.
Taking a hard stance against this toddler.
I am. I hope he dies.
Oh my god! Well, I have some good news for you. So, the balloon, it lures him out of the bathroom.
Yep.
And over to the train tracks. And
the first viewing, I was giddy.
Yeah, you were.
I was like, see what happens? See what happens when you steal a balloon? Because I didn't believe they were going to do it. I did not think that they were going to do it.
And then they did it.
And I laughed so hard. It was, to me, it was just the funniest thing. I can't believe they hit this baby with a train. I cannot believe they hit the baby with the train. And the train was going so slow.
And nobody reacted.
Nobody did anything.
No, you've got the parents, and they're yelling, and people are noticing that the baby's on the tracks, and the parents run past a bunch of adults who don't move at all.
It is a wild scene that I thought was hilarious.
In fact, listeners...
We watched it for a second time today.
Yep. And as soon as the train showed up...
I started laughing.
So the baby died, and David loved it.
I can't believe they hit the baby with the train.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. A production note. During production of the episode, the producers agonized over both the teaser, given that it revolves around a child being killed by a tram, and the episode's overall bleakness.
Oh, they agonized. I'm sorry. Well, don't worry, producers. It was very funny.
It was the best thing that's happened to you all day.
It was Marvin getting shot in the face funny.
Marvin?
Pulp Fiction?
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped that?
What the fuck's happening? Oh,
man.
shit, man.
Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Oh, I don't remember Pulp Fiction.
Oh. Didn't we just watch it a couple years ago?
I don't think so.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, the agents are reviewing a photo from the scene of the Lincoln Park accident. Mulder believes the balloon luring Teddy was pulled by someone. His hypothesis is poltergeist.
I think it's not the first time he said poltergeist.
No, it's ridiculous. But his hypothesis is supported when Charles Chuck Burks, the, quote, king of digital imaging, unquote, reveals a translucent figure unseen in the original photo.
And you can really see it when they add a bunch of noise.
Yep.
Right in the middle of the picture. It really stands out once you add stuff to it.
They added a bunch of noise that was vaguely in the shape of a boy. A person, I guess.
I couldn't even tell what shape it was in.
It was a person blob with an arm blob. The figure is composed of electromagnetic energy, an energy commonly associated with phantoms. Dun, dun, dun. Mulder presents the childproof halter Teddy escaped from and said, see, poltergeist activity.
Unless this kid is the reincarnation of Houdini, it couldn't have got out of there. And that would be an X-File in and of itself. Sorry, Mulder, we've done the reincarnation one. It was dumb.
Didn't like it. Move on. So, Scully is skeptical, but they go visit the Holvey household anyway. Mulder proposes to the astonished parents. What a weird way to say that. Well, he says that Teddy might have been helped onto the tracks.
And then he says one of the greatest lines ever. Did Teddy have any enemies?
A 2-year-old. It's been in the world for 2 whole years.
Did your toddler have any enemies?
It was weird. Did anybody want to hurt Teddy? Why? Ugh. Charlie enters the room and the living room fire flares high. And everybody remains oblivious, but Mulder looks at it. And then Scully follows Charlie out of the room. And Golda, I guess it actually does say Golda, Maggie's Romanian mother, draws what appears to be a swastika on Charlie's hand.
It is a reverse swastika,
That's right.
as Mulder calls it in this episode.
That's right. Did you look up what a reverse swastika is actually called?
Yes, and I know why they call it a reverse swastika in this episode, because it's just called a swastika.
Oh.
Like one word, a swastika. And I can see how that would be very confusing if you were a space swastika or a swastika.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get why they went with reverse swastika.
All right. That's fair. Mulder, meanwhile, inquires into paranormal occurrences around the home, and as he does, the fire alarm triggers, and man...
The dad gets so angry. He's like, that motherfucking smoke detector!
He was so mad.
It was really weird.
The lights go out, and when the power comes on, Golda appears and accuses Maggie of having a devil child.
She says, devil, lol. We have the captions on when we watch. And then, apparently there's a Romanian word that is just LOL.
Yeah.
But it was funny because on the captions it just it was like devil lol.
Golda accuses her daughter of marrying the devil, and when you marry the devil, you have devil children, which is just a lot of accusations that never go anywhere.
No, not really, but it's genetically speaking, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Have a child with a devil, you're going to have a devil child.
I guess so.
That's how tieflings are born.
That's true. So he's a tiefling.
Yes, he's a tiefling.
All right. In his office, Mulder and Scully discuss the swastika on the back of Charlie's hand. There are also these reverse swastikas around the house, too.
Yeah, and they have the dots in them.
Yeah.
As well, just for the listeners.
But still, bold choice.
Very bold.
Like-
Especially since it's not a Romanian thing.
No, couldn't
It's
they?
a Hindu thing.
They could have used literally any symbol.
Yeah.
And they went with a swastika?
Yeah, if I see a swastika in the Eastern Bloc, I'm not assuming it's for good.
Yeah.
No, it's a Hindu/Buddhist.
Yes, however, it has been used completely differently for so long that unless the thing you're looking
really?
at is ancient,
By who?
a lot of
I'm unaware of this
a lot of people
appropriation of the swastika.
a lot of people in this country, unfortunately. Ugh,
No, I encounter them quite a bit, actually.
that's great.
No, and from people of color, from actual Hindus.
Oh,
Yeah, they put them by the door.
huh. I don't know any. Well, I don't know anybody. So, I guess
And by quite a bit, I mean like once a week.
Okay.
Which I think is still quite a bit.
it's definitely jarring
Yeah.
since
I've only encountered it down there once in the other
in the
scenario.
white people scenario.
Tattooed on your chest scenario.
Yeah. Oh my God! Remember when we were at that diner and that guy had the SS tattoo on his head?
Yeah, it was wild.
He was just sitting there.
It was wild.
It was like, there's a Nazi right there,
Yep.
just eating brunch.
Just being a Nazi in public.
Wow, that was bold, and also apparently okay, because
Nobody had any problems with it.
I had a problem with it, but he was scary.
Might have been how everybody else felt.
I think so. It was unsettling. All right, well, they talk about the swastika and how the backward-facing swastika has protective powers in some cultures, as we just discussed. Scully believes the Holvey children are victims of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a form of abuse characterized by a parent or caretaker inducing illness in a child in order to gain attention or status. So I looked up Munchausen syndrome by proxy to get a little bit more information, and it's hard to determine how many people are victims of this, because unless it gets to the point where people are being hospitalized, you kind of don't know. But in a paper called Epidemiology of Munchausen Syndrome by Proxy, Non-Accidental Poisoning and Non-Accidental Suffocation by R.J. McClure, P.M. Davis, S.R. Meadow, and J.R. Silbert, I have a little bit of information. This was a 2-year prospective study performed to determine the epidemiology of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, non-accidental poisoning, and non-accidental suffocation in the UK and the Republic of Ireland. So they looked at cases that were notified to the British Pediatric Association Surveillance Unit from September 92 to August 94, if the formal case conference had been held for the first time during that period to discuss the above conditions. So those were the stipulations. A total of 128 cases were identified. 55 suffered Munchausen syndrome by proxy alone, 15 poisoning, and 15 suffocation. 43 suffered more than one type of abuse. And the majority of the children were under the age of 5, with the median age being 20 months, which is how old Charlie would have been. So it makes sense that based on the medical records that will show up in a moment and his age, that Scully would jump to this.
Yeah.
On 85% of the occasions, the perpetrator was the child's mother. And in 42% of families with more than one child, a sibling had previously suffered some form of abuse. So it seems like it's obviously a mental illness that is targeting people that you're close to, and it's easier, air quotes, easier, if the child is nonverbal to get away with.
Makes sense.
And then if your child grows out of it, or grows out of that and into being more verbal, it would make sense to focus on the next one.
Seems like maybe it's a part of postpartum depression.
It really does. In this little bit of this 2-year study, they don't state what their assumptions are based on, well, science, so I don't think that's called an assumption. But they don't
Hypothesis.
Yeah, they don't give a hypothesis about that, but it does definitely sound like that could be part of it. And then based on these incidences, it doesn't seem like the numbers that they came up with were, I'll just read that sentence. The combined annual incidence of these conditions in children aged under 16 years is at least 0.5 out of every 100,000. And then for children aged under 1, at least 2.8 out of every 100,000. So I pulled that up because you had asked if it was something that was super, super rare. It wasn't as rare as you were saying.
Right.
But it's definitely not a common situation.
Yeah, I was just wondering because when I found out that shaken baby syndrome wasn't a real thing,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wonder if Munchausen's is.
And Munchausen syndrome by proxy is now called something. It's got a different name.
Why? Everybody knows this name. Why would you change it?
Because they do that sometimes.
I hate it.
Well,
Why did we have to rename leprosy, name it after a band that everybody hated?
what did they rename leprosy to?
Hansen's disease.
I ba da ba doo ba dooey da ba.
Yeah.
Best song ever.
It's offensive that they renamed it. Just because, oh, leprosy has a stigma to it. Well, now Hansen is going to have a stigma to that. And that's not fair.
They actually have grown up to make non-pop music that's more interesting.
Oh, good. Good. I was worried. I've been not sleeping.
No, that's not true. We just talked about how well you slept last night.
Yeah.
All right, back to the X-Files. Teddy's medical records contain frequent appointments, which corroborate Scully's hypothesis, and as does Goulda's accusation that Charlie is evil.
But she's not accusing Charlie of being evil.
But that's also unclear.
No, I think by the end of the episode it's clear.
Yes, by the end of the episode, but so do you think she's saying any of that to her daughter in Romanian and we just don't know because it was never translated?
You would think that she would communicate this.
Rather than just yelling about how the child's a devil,
Yeah.
while also drawing swastikas on him?
To protect him.
Which is, I'm sorry, backwards swastikas.
A swastika.
Yes. I feel like there would have been a conversation at some point. They are definitely hollering at each other a bunch.
And Golda knows what's going on.
Right.
So why would she not tell her daughter?
I don't know.
And we need a scene where she's telling her daughter and her daughter doesn't believe her, at least.
Yeah, because we get the backstory later and she says that she wouldn't allow her mom to do the, not exorcism, but the separation.
Soul separation?
Which, honestly, I think it's because of the husband.
Probably.
So basically what I'm saying is it's the husband's fault the whole time. All of this.
Okay. I mean, way to victim blame.
He's still alive at this moment. All right, so the agents interview the father, Steve Holvey, to ask about Golda. Steve relates Golda's aberrant behavior, which focuses on protection from evil spirits. He suspects Golda's involvement in Teddy's death, which is a weird accusation.
Pretty strange.
Because she wasn't there.
No. But what if this old lady stealthed up and snuck around and nobody saw a Romanian woman with a shawl pulled up and ding, ding, ding around?
Right. I love that that Golda hates him because he's the devil. And Steve hates her because he doesn't understand her culture.
Right. This whole scene, he's like, mother-in-laws, am I right? I love how I'm not going to be able to edit that out. Without it being really jarring.
Uh-huh. I know. It wasn't even context for this.
No!
Well, sorry about that. All right, so he suspects Golda's involvement in Teddy's death, And then, so I bet their household is just really great right now.
Yeah.
That's when Scully refers Steve to a social worker and asks that Charlie be brought to see her. In the Holvey household, Scully observes Golda sprinkling a substance into Charlie's food.
It's clearly seasoning. That's like oregano. It's probably like that good Romanian oregano.
Right? Yeah. It definitely looks like seasoning. Or like a little Italian seasoning packet that comes in your HelloFresh.
Yeah, that stuff was like good homemade seasonings. And if I'm Scully, I'm asking for a plate, to be honest.
Hey, I haven't eaten anything ever in this show. Oh, except for that barbecue.
It's messy barbecue.
The barbecue that had the steroids in it. The alien DNA.
Steroids?
Yeah, the alien steroids.
Something.
It's the only thing we've seen her eat. Before he can eat, Steve tells him that they're going to see the social worker, which is weird timing. Like, did you not schedule the timing of when your child's going to eat? Can you imagine taking this child who's anticipating lunch, being taken away from his lunch? Now he's just starving also.
Yeah, I bet he's going to be in a good mood for the social worker.
Probably. Something that Maggie was adamantly opposed to. But Steve gets his way, and the father and son head for the car. While in the garage, Steve sticks his head into the machinery.
It was so obvious what was about to happen.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so...
Okay, what was about to happen, that something was going to happen, because what ended up happening was even weirder than him sticking his head in the machinery.
Yes, so we were expecting a Tatum from Scream kind of garage door situation.
Or getting his head crushed.
Something. But instead, the garage door that is being faulty grabs up his tie.
Yeah, so when he stuck his head up there, he also took his tie and flung it up over the chain, apparently.
Oh, yeah. You don't do that?
Usually no.
When you're wearing a tie, you don't just go find machinery and swing your tie into it?
Typically I don't. I like having a tie clip, because tie clips are classy.
They are classy. Well, Steve is not a classy guy.
Fucking Steve. He said, wrap my tie around the chain of the garage door opener guy.
I saw an image of that moment, and it said, should have worn a bow tie.
Hard disagree.
You don't think Steve is a bow tie kind of dude?
No, if Steve wore a bow tie, I would... Ugh.
It would have to be a clip-on. I do not believe Steve could tie a bow tie.
This reminds me of a friend of mine named Kishar who wanted to wear a bow tie, and he was like, it's unfortunate that black guys can't wear bow ties without people thinking they're part of the Nation of Islam. And I said, well, white guys can't wear bow ties without people thinking they're a complete douchebag. He was like, fair.
So both of you lamented not being able to wear bow ties. Oh, it's sad for you guys. So the scene doesn't end well for Steve, and he is hanged by his necktie.
Yeah, the ghost was like, I gotcha.
The ghost was like, I don't want to talk to a social worker. No.
I haven't eaten yet. I'm starving.
Right? Told you should have let that kid eat. It's obvious that Charlie is upset because he's in the car being upset.
Yeah, that's when I wrote, I guess it's not Charlie.
Yes, and you said it out loud too, because we, up until this point, believed it was Charlie based on the entire cold open.
Yeah, and every time he just looks menacing at people.
Right. And when he walks into the living room and the fireplace erupts.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Gas fireplace.
Your evil twin goes and stands by the gas fireplace. And
Goes,
I want an evil twin. Could you imagine every time you walk into a room, a fire just ignites?
That would be a bonus, but the downside of having an evil twin is they're always trying to kill you.
I'm sure we could come to some sort of agreement.
Just you with a goatee. That's how you know who the evil twin is.
That's right. So, a production note, Fox's Standards and Practices Department took issue with the initial cut of Steve's strangulation scene. In the end, the sequence was kept, but the actor's face was obscured to soften the impact.
Well, it worked. It was definitely softer impact.
Although the episode's filming went along smoothly, the final cut didn't pass muster. Spotnitz explained that Carter spent a lot of time in the editing room trying to figure out how to make this more terrifying. Spotnitz later noted that Carter's dedication proved that something could be, quote, so, quote, much better if you didn't give it up.
Oh, I see.
So, do you think it's so much better?
I don't know what the original cut was, so...
His face.
I don't know.
I don't know either. A police investigation into Steve's death ensues. A police officer indicates Golda's room to Scully, which is filled with candles and dead roosters. The roosters didn't deserve that.
They also didn't look like they had their throats cut.
Mm-mm.
And
maybe they're
blood
strangled?
drained or whatever. Well, I wrote that they died of natural causes.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
These chickens died of natural causes. So
just,
it's okay that they're there.
They're just hanging out and, fell asleep.
Not even vegetarians can get mad at this.
Nope.
They were just old-aged chickens.
Yep. Meanwhile, Mulder discovers a gray powder in the garage. When analyzed by the FBI, the substance contains nothing organic or inorganic.
Huh?
Which those are your two options. And according to the technicians, it inexplicably, quote, doesn't exist, unquote.
Oh.
I,
Come on now.
as a lab technician in my spare time,
Oh no.
would believe that I had tested it inaccurately and would test it again.
You think?
Yeah.
It doesn't contain anything organic or inorganic.
Maybe my chemicals aren't mixed properly. Let me try again.
Possibly I did something wrong.
Mulder shows the substance to Chuck, who identifies it as an aport. Aport?
Aperitif?
Yes. And drinks it. And he's like, organic or inorganic or in my belly.
Yeah.
Ah, that Chuck, he's a jokester.
He's a
He's a
real-
chuckster.
He's a card.
He's a real chuckster. No?
No.
You don't like that?
No.
And then he chucks you under the chin.
It makes me feel all gross inside.
Something which can appear from thin air. That's what aport is. It occurs in the presence of spirit beings or during bilocation.
So it's dried up ectoplasm. It's
Yep.
it's dry. It's ectoplasm that had all of its moisture stolen.
Yep. Or also known as a phenomenon where a person's energy is transported to a different location. Oh, no, that's bilocation. But Scully's like, I don't believe any of this, guys.
Yeah. This is one of those Scully moments where even though she ends up being wrong, she's not really wrong.
Right, yeah. Sometime later at the Holvey household, Charlie listens to Golda and 3 Romanian Calusari as they're performing a ritual. Charlie's image appears in the smoke, yelling in Romanian. Meanwhile, the social worker Karen Kosef arrives and asks to see Charlie.
Dolores Herbig.
Yep.
As in her big brown eyes.
That's right. She and Maggie discover Charlie laying in the hallway, shouting in pain outside of Golda's door. Furious, Maggie enters the room and demands that everyone leave. Which, I think Maggie's reaction to everything that's happening in her household is the only reasonable reaction.
Everybody get the fuck out.
Yes.
Everybody just get the fuck out.
She says it a lot in this episode. Just get out of my house.
There's too many things happening.
Everybody leave.
There needs to be fewer things happening.
Yeah. Step 1, fewer things.
Fewer things happen. Quickest way to make that happen is everybody get the fuck out.
Yep. After the men depart, Golda grabs Charlie, locks the door, and prepares a ritual blade. Meanwhile, the social worker just fucks off.
She bilocates.
Yes!
Because she is just gone.
And then she's outside.
Golda grabs Charlie, and Karen is gone.
Apparently, she bilocated to the phone to call 911. And then she's outside when Mulder and Scully arrive, and she tells them what happened. Kind of. She said some weird guys were in there.
And they weren't. They were gone at that point.
Right. They were gone. They were just some guys.
They were foreign looking.
I would be like, there's some guys in robes doing something I don't understand.
Look, the old guy's got a long white beard, so he's definitely magic. And we gotta do something about it.
He's wearing a robe. He's got a beard. Magic.
He speaks with an accent. Something has to be done.
Golda prepares to cut Charlie's hand, but flying objects knock her down. And as she turns to face Charlie, he thrusts the dead roosters at her, who return to life and peck her to death.
Yeah, they do.
And then when...
This was cool.
It was really cool. I wanted the roosters to be alive again.
Oh, at the end?
At the end. But when the agents open the door, when they finally get through, Golda is dead, and the reanimated roosters are also dead. Now everybody's dead.
Everybody dead.
Except Charlie. Charlie's not dead.
True.
Yeah. Maggie reveals the ceremony Golda was performing is designed to cleanse the house of evil, which, like...
Didn't work?
No, it didn't work, but also, I would let that happen.
Yeah, why would you stop that? That's a good question.
Can we do a vegetarian version of it and not kill the roosters?
The roosters died of old age.
I'm sorry, you're
so
right.
I think it's okay.
You're right. I would be okay with that. Yeah, so let's stop this. I don't understand. Oh well. Maggie and the agents watch as Karen at a child psychiatrist center interviews Charlie. Oh, so they left the house, obviously. And he claims Michael was responsible. Who he finally says Michael out loud. It wasn't me, it was Michael. And we find out then that Michael was Charlie's identical twin brother.
Charlie ate him in the womb.
Who was stillborn. And Maggie and Steve decided never to tell Charlie about it. Which, I mean, whatever.
But you didn't have to.
Nope. Because Michael was there all along. And apparently Michael came back as the evil twin. I don't know.
Well, I would say he was always the evil twin. You don't just become the evil twin. You're born the evil twin.
You don't? It's not a...
No, this is deeply spiritual and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining it.
Hey, you know what?
I really understand it now.
That's good. It's like my note right here. Say something that makes that little sense.
You did it. Well, so what I failed to mention was that Charlie and Karen are in the room doing the interview. Charlie is really upset and he's yelling. Karen is not holding her shit together. She's also yelling. So they're in there yelling at each other. While behind I assume it's the one-sided glass mirror, we have Mulder, Scully, and Maggie, who step away from the mirror at this point.
As soon as Charlie says Michael, everybody turns around and quits paying attention to the two people yelling at each other, one of them being a child.
Yes.
They're like, we don't need that anymore. What's going on over here?
Yep. Oh, it was nuts. So when they turn back around, or they do turn back around because Karen is yelling that something's going on, Charlie is seizing. She's laying on top of him. It's just...
She tackled him.
She did.
And he's seizing because he has a concussion.
Yep. Well, he's taken to the hospital where when he...
I have this very vivid picture in my head now of her just form tackling. Just boom. And it is hilarious.
He regains consciousness at the hospital, and he's resisting medication. Michael has now separated physically and appears from the shadows. The nurse comes in and is trying to give Charlie a shot because he has spit out his medication at some point.
They, for once, do a good job of explaining something that has previously happened that led to this very quickly and concisely.
Yes.
I was very impressed.
It's the only time they've ever done
The first time they've ever done that. In, let's see, 24 episodes, in 45 episodes. This is the first time they've ever managed that.
Charlie doesn't want the shot, so Michael comes out of the shadows and attacks the nurse.
So now we have a ghost that can manifest itself into physical form that also ages.
Right.
Because why in the world is this ghost aging?
I was wondering the same thing. He would not be the same age.
It should just be a little stillborn little fetus that's doing all of this.
That's what it was the last episode.
The little tiny fetus walking with that great big metal thing that he whacked the nurse with. Just like...
I'm pretty sure that's what the last episode was.
Close.
They said
that one was scuttling and scurrying. I want like tiny stillborn fetus, but like bipedal, like up walking upright.
The size of that little alien fetus that we saw at the end of season 1. Yeah. And then at some other episode in this season.
That's what I want.
I'm into it. X-Files, hire us to rewrite this.
What are you doing? What are you even doing? Clearly, we know better.
Look, we can make season 2 much better. Give us a shot and millions of dollars. And people who know what they're doing, because I don't know how to make any of this happen.
A staff would be nice.
Yes, thanks. Michael, masquerading as Charlie, demands that Maggie take him home. Maggie catches on really quickly here, which is nice.
Wow. How would this scene go if it was just a little... I don't know, maybe.
Oh, no.
And I talked about how funny it was that a toddler died.
I don't think we've laughed this much in this episode. Mommy, the doctor said I could go home now.
Let's get your coat. Look at me. Does it look like a coat's gonna fit me?
Come on, woman. Use your head.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Well, Maggie takes the stillborn fetus home to the murder house, and nothing good happens at that house. At the beginning of this episode, there were 6 people living in that house.
5? Oh, 6 if you count Michael.
Now there's like 2 or 3, depending on how you count this. Yikes. Oh my gosh. So Maggie takes him to the car, and Scully and Mulder are standing in the giantest stairwell in front of a window and talking about something that I've completely forgotten now that I'm thinking about this fetus.
I don't remember what they were talking about either, but Scully sees Maggie and who she thinks is Charlie leave.
Yes. And they rush into Charlie's room where Charlie is. And what is the line? It's something very weird where it's like, well, she has Charlie or something, and we're like, no, Charlie's right here.
Yeah, no, it was the other one. There was 2 of them, and they see that Charlie's right there. And then Mulder's like, oh, the one with Maggie is not Charlie, and Scully is skeptical, even though she's looking directly at Charlie.
Right. It's very dissonant in that moment, because they're not even in the hallway.
Yeah, they're in the room with Charlie.
Right. Well, so Maggie takes Michael, not Charlie, Michael home. She knows that something's wrong, or suspects that something's wrong.
She does a cool spell with matchsticks.
Yep. And he says, "Mummy."
Yeah, there was that one line delivery he gave that was fantastic.
Oh, and I do want to mention his face acting, great.
The actor who played Charlie and Michael was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. Gotta
say that positive to him, because there have definitely been some child actors that have showed up that you're just like, I don't know why.
Eve.
Yeah.
The one twin was a much better actor than the other twin.
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually. So while they're at home, Scully is going after them.
And then Mulder's going to, quote, get help.
Yes. And he stays at the hospital. Mulder is at the hospital and contacts the Calusari, who arrive soon after and begin performing an exorcism ritual on Charlie.
When do you think he got their beeper number?
Right after he threatened to arrest them.
I'm going to arrest you. Can I get your beeper number? Let me get that pager.
They come and help. Mulder struggles to hold Charlie's legs down, and they warn Mulder not to look into Charlie's eyes, or else the devil will recognize him. I mean, the evil will recognize him. Mulder tries to look away, but can't. Every other shot of Mulder is him looking at Charlie.
He's just too curious of a boy.
Meanwhile, while the whole exorcism is happening in the hospital, of all places, and nobody comes in, nobody hears anything.
Well, Mulder was guarding the door.
He wasn't.
One old magic guy said, guard the door.
I know. But then Mulder just walked in, shut the door, and went and held Charlie.
No, it was a little later. There was a little time in it. Because the 4 guys were having a hard time holding down the 9-year-old boy.
The 4 guys who were actually only 2 guys who were actually touching Charlie because 2 other guys were doing nothing.
That's why they had to bring in Mulder.
But that's what all of the yelling started, and you'd think that somebody in the hospital would have come by.
I mean, it's a hospital. Isn't there always yelling constantly?
No.
I've never been in a hospital.
No, you obviously have not, no.
It's just, ah!
No, that's not what hospitals are like.
Oh, wow. I guess I should stop being so afraid of them.
Yes.
I just picture screaming constantly.
No, people are generally not constantly screaming.
Surgery with no anesthetic.
What year was the last time you went to a hospital?
1834.
That explains it. You know what? If you ever go back to 1834, do be afraid of hospitals.
Okay, I will.
2022, I guess it's also kind of scary at this point with the airborne virus.
What? No, that's done.
Don't do that. You can't pretend that you don't believe in it on the World Wide Web.
Okay, I'm sorry, World Wide Web.
On the www.
http://www.itsfuckingplague.com.
Yep. I wonder if that's an actual website or something that you can own. So Scully goes to the Holvey household and finds Golda's room in shambles. And this is the scene where Scully gets feet right in her face.
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
It was.
She's creeping along the wall, calling for somebody. Maggie or Charlie, one.
I think she's calling for Charlie.
But then she just, boom, foot right upside the head. And she backs up and looks up, and Maggie's up on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
It's a really cool shot. Good job there. Then she sees... So Maggie's up on the ceiling, and she's reciting prayers in Romanian, I believe. Michael disables Scully by tossing her right across the room, because it's not an X-Files episode if Scully doesn't get just bodily chucked across the room.
Yeah. Gillian Anderson's stunt double is getting a lot of work.
Is underpaid.
Underpaid, yes.
He then lunges at her with a knife.
And she just lays there, puts one arm up, looks like, oh.
She looks super damseled.
She doesn't even make any noise. She's just, oh, one arm up. Oh, it's really, really annoying.
It really is. Back at the hospital, the Calusari complete their ritual just in time, and Scully is saved because it's not an X-Files episode if Scully doesn't get saved by some men.
Sigh.
Even if the men aren't actually there.
Men don't even need to be near her to save her.
Yep. Charlie returns to normal. However, before Mulder leaves, he receives the ominous warning from the head of the Calusari that told him he should be the most careful because the evil that once dwelled in Charlie will recognize him and now knows him. Curious to see if this ever comes up again.
I feel like we're going to get one of these every season now. So what is it? What is the evil? Was it not Michael? Because this whole time we've been thinking it's Michael. Is it just an evil? Is it the devil from that one episode? The substitute teacher devil with the snake?
Maybe, but I don't know why it would be.
That one would already recognize Mulder.
That's true.
Uh-huh. So I guess it wasn't Michael. It was just taking the form of Michael.
Which seems like something they should have explained.
Really should have. Definitely should have explained that. It would explain why he's not a fetus, though. I'm evil! Yeah.
Cower before me! Okay, because you're so cute.
I will cower.
I'm so scared. Oh.
Who's a cute little evil? Who's a teeny weeny little evil?
And then you tickle it on its belly. It's like, no, stop! Stop it!
No, I am evil incarnate.
And then at night, you have to just swaddle it, and it's like, no, I don't want to be swaddled because when I'm swaddled, I get so sleepy.
Oh, Chris Carter, hit us up. We've got a TV show to pitch you.
I love it. We're just making TV shows and spin-offs left and right.
Who you shipping?
I'm shipping the... This is going to come up in a bit, but I'm going to ship the Calusari and what they actually do.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to tell you what it is yet.
All right.
So they're actual rituals instead of
Okay.
the X-Files.
Well, I'm going with Mrs. Holvey and one of the Calusari guys. There was a younger one who had a beard. He was balding on top, but he's a decent-looking guy. And he knows. He knows things. He knows how to keep her son safe.
That would be a better pairing than the white devil that she married.
Devil lol.
Who put his tie into the mechanics. How are you surviving?
I think I'm going to survive by tickling evil in its little belly.
Oh, little belly. I'm surviving by having that ritual done in my house that makes evil leave.
Immediately. We need to do this ritual of soul division. Okay.
All right.
Problem averted.
You know what? Great. It's a ritual. You're going to burn some herbs. You're going to mix some water. You're going to say some words. You're going to bless this mess. Great. Go ahead. All right. So the Calusari from... the reason that I'm pronouncing it that way is, one, I don't know how to do this Roman pronunciation.
Romanian pronunciation.
Oh, Romanian. That's the second time I did that, only backwards.
Mm-hmm.
This Romanian pronunciation because, I don't know. But also that's how Mulder says it in the episode, so I am almost confident it's wrong. But the Calusari are members of a fraternal secret society who practice a ritual acrobatic dance.
What?
Don't you wish that they had done that?
That's amazing.
Originally Romanian, the practice later spread to Bulgaria and North Macedonia from 3 weeks after Easter until Pentecost, called Rusali in Romanian. For around 2 weeks, they have traditionally traveled to all their local communities where they would dance, accompanied by a few fiddlers.
What the fuck? That's so wrong. What the hell? Oh my god, oh my god, when they bring X-Files back in another 15 years, the spiritual group of Jabberwockies is gonna fucking come bless somebody.
Yep.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wouldn't that have been a great episode? If those old guys in robes had been doing
Just dances.
acrobatic dances.
Wow.
The bearded wizard guy just doing back handsprings.
That would have been amazing.
I would have loved that. So this 1-star review was on IMDb by Ioana Spam on January 13th, 2012. The headline is, "Horribly Perpetuated Stereotypes." And I was like, that's what caught my attention because I was like, yes.
Because obviously.
Yes. This isn't the first time. And it won't be the last, I'm sad to say.
Anytime they bring in any other culture into the show, I'm assuming they're wrong.
Yeah. So this is what they said. "I love the X-Files. The show, the movies, the actors, characters. I am a huge fan and would rate any other episode anywhere between an 8 to a 10. However, as a Romanian..." I'm sorry, I said Romanian American earlier, and I don't know. As a Romanian, this episode makes me so mad because it perpetuates stereotypes about Romania that are not even based in semi-facts.
I don't think they're probably even based on actual stereotypes.
Yeah. First of all, people who are very superstitious in Romania are so because they are very, very old school Orthodox Christian.
Of course.
Not pagan.
Of course.
Second of all, the Calusari are dance groups! Cal means horse, and Calusari are horsemen riders who dance away evil spirits during spring harvest rituals. They do not chant or make potions, they dance. And that's when I was like, oh, I have to look this up even more. Just, wow. That would have been so much more fun! And more accurate.
Yeah.
Third of all, none of these people looked like they were or spoke Romanian. I am fluent, and I struggled to understand what they were saying.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Once in a while, I would catch phrases and words horribly pronounced. But I am almost 100% positive that as the men were chanting and supposedly let out spirits, they were not speaking Romanian, unless they were doing it backwards and in Pig Latin.
Oh, Pig Latin Romanian. That's hilarious.
Despite my love of everything X-Files, I am rating this episode a 1 for the mess it made of understanding anything related to any Romanian tradition. I honestly could not even pay attention to the storyline or evaluate it if it was good or bad, because at every turn in the episode, there was another element that just made me so mad about how they were portraying Romania or its traditions.
Not surprised.
Me neither, but I wanted to give space for that critique because I think the X-Files deserved it.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
Nope, just the swastika is not even Romanian.
Oh, yeah.
It's Hindu and Buddhist.
And if you're being terrorized by a tiny evil fetus,
Just kick it out the window.
I was going to say tickle its belly and then swaddle it till it goes to sleep.
You can do that too.
One or the other.
It'd be funnier to watch it go
right
out
into
the
the
window.
dumpster.
The Cast Files is produced by Kristen Riley and Dave Reed. Edited by Dave Reed. You can find us on Twitter at Cast Files. You can find me on Twitter at Dave Reed. That's DaiveReed. You can email us at thecastfiles. That's the with 2 E's at gmail.com. If you could please go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, and tell us that we are doing phenomenal things. Artistic, wonderful things. We are raising the bar on podcasting. We would love you forever for that. We have a TeePublic store. You can go buy t-shirts and stuff there. Music by House 6. Logo by @OokaArt. That's OOKAART.
And then his dick falls off and flies around the room.